Welcome to this manufacturer showcase hosted by NYCHA's Empire Building Challenge. Its purpose is to familiarize you with new or emerging technologies meant to facilitate decarbonizing our building stock and applicable across entire portfolios. All sessions will be recorded and available upon request, and slide decks will be sent to all attendees. Each presentation will be 20 minutes, followed by 10 minutes in which the presenter will respond to your questions. We ask that you go on mute until then, and now it is my pleasure to introduce Bryant Elder and Rod Mobini of Gradient. Thank you. Bryant?
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Saul and NYCHA for the invite. Again, I'm Bryant Elder. I'm the Director of Business Development here with Gradient. Just a quick overview about Gradient. Brian, we'll go to the next slide, please. Next slide, thank you. So yeah, Brian Elder. I'm actually based here. I'm based here in New York. Been with the company since August, but to have about 15 years of industry experience working for companies like Ice Air, Thermal Systems, which is a manufacturer rep firm, and most recently Block Power. And Rod is based in the Bay Area in California. He's been with us for over close to 3 years and was very integral in putting together and launching product that we're going to be talking about today, as well as our initiative with New York City Housing Authority. And Rod comes to us from companies like Tesla and SpaceX. So thank you all again. And next slide, please. A little bit about Gradient. Again, Rod will get the details about the product. But as far as the company, we are based in California. We're a San Francisco-based climate tech startup. And we want to talk to you about what we consider to be a revolutionary window heat pump. It has the ease of installation of a typical window AC, with all the bells and whistles and benefits of a standard heat pump. So with that, I will turn over to Rod, and he'll give you some details about the product. Then I'll circle back at the end. Rod?
Thanks, Bryant. Really happy to be here with you all. Again, my name is Rod Mobini, and I'll walk you through some of the features of our product, and then also through a demonstration that we're doing with the New York City Housing Authority in collaboration with NYCHA and the New York Power Authority. So getting into our product. So this is our second generation product. It's called the all-weather 120 volt window heat pump. It brings together, like Bryant said, it brings together all of the functionality and power and user experience of a mini split heat pump in the ease of installation and lower expense of a window air conditioner. So, you know, we really designed this with users in mind, not only the end users, but the building owners, the installers, the contractors, and spent a couple of years just learning about the needs of these different stakeholders. And so what that resulted in, all our feedback from our users and our customers, resulted in a powerful and modular system that can be installed in over half of the windows in the US market. It's plug and play into a 120 volt outlet. Doesn't require any professional installs. It's extremely quiet, especially when compared to a window air conditioner that rattles your window. We've put a lot of time and effort there. It's rated down to -7 degrees Fahrenheit and is good for cold climates. It's also industry leading for its air filtration in this product category. We've added MERV 13 filtration, which is, you know, the minimum requirement for schools, and it also is just going to our purpose as a company. It's better for the planet too. It's approximately 95% lower direct emissions as a result of better refrigerants and a much more efficient system. So another feature is just the low cost and hassle-free install. I touched on this already, and you'll see a bit more in a little bit, but it doesn't require permits, contractors, licensing, none of that. It's a 30-minute install with just 2 people lifting the unit through the window. And we've already proven success in the field here, installing over 40 units in about 4 days. So it's like a 10 heat pumps per day installation. And then the maintenance is extremely easy. There's air filter and a condensate filter, and those are the only really regular maintenance that you would need to do on a unit like this. And these are also connected units, not only connected to the internet and to the cloud, but also can connect to your building and to utilities to make this the smartest and best solution for our customers. So just to go through a few of the features, you can see one of our installs here. This is actually at a NYCHA facility at the upper right. You can see this is the outdoor unit. Like I said, 30-minute install, no HVAC contractors required. It's designed for cold climates, 9,000 BTU in both heating and cooling. It is a heater and a cooler with no resistive heating for space heating. And it can accommodate variable window depths. It also is using variable speed compressors and fans. So that makes it very, very energy efficient. We've also designed it so that it doesn't take up the window. And so it hangs just below the window on the indoor so that you have all of the natural light that you had before installing our unit as well. I mentioned it's 120 volts for a 15 amp outlet. So in most US construction, that's just your typical 120 volt outlet. It won't require service interruptions, really is not a big nuisance to the residents to install, and it only takes like an hour of their day, and no drilling or permitting necessary. And we're using the best in class or the best allowable refrigerant for the climate and for efficiency. Again, so just highlighting a few more of the features of this product. It's about a 24-inch by 24-inch square on the inside and on the outside. The depth on the inside is about 8 inches, and the depth on the outside is about 14 inches. So the outdoor unit is a bit larger. We've put most of the internal systems on the outside of the unit. The overall weight of the entire unit is 125 pounds approximately. The noise I mentioned earlier goes all the way down to 38 decibels at a 1 meter distance. The electrical considerations I mentioned, we recommend installing in a 15 amp circuit, but it won't consume more than 12 amps. And we provide a 6-foot cord already with the unit. The unit also will have mobile app control, scheduling, and BACnet compatibility. It has cooling, heating, and fan-only modes. Again, 9,000 BTU heating and cooling. And then most importantly here, the energy efficiencies that we have rated so far. These are relatively conservative at this point, but at 47 degrees Fahrenheit, we're getting a coefficient of performance of 4. So for every 1 watt of electricity in, it's 4 watts of heating out. So that's equivalent to saying 400% efficient. And then at 17 degrees, 260% efficient. At 5 degrees Fahrenheit, 235% efficient. And at -7 degrees Fahrenheit, still 171% efficient. I mentioned the app. Here's just a glimpse at the app that we have that users can use to control their units at home or when they're away from home. Again, we have enabled BACnet compatibility with this product. And just now to highlight, we consider mini splits really our competition, not window air conditioners, because our product is just much better than a window air conditioner. It's more like a traditional HVAC solution, like a mini split, but it comes at a much lower price and much less hassle for installs. And we're seeing that multifamily buildings like NYCHA, this is a game changer for them, especially, but also for the single family homeowner as well. So you can see the requirements of installing a mini split compared to our all-weather 120 volt is just, they're incomparable. So just to show you now a visual of what an install looks like here. You can find this video on our website as well, but I'll walk you through it here. So that's when it's fully installed. So the unit will come in a box and you'll be able to unbox it, as you can see here. Oh, pardon the Wi-Fi issues. Then you prepare the window and you put some ceiling foams around, and you put our bracket in, install the bracket, and then the unit can pivot 90 degrees, and then you have two people lifting on either side, and then you gently lift it into place and you push it out the window with our hydraulics to ease the drop there, and then you cover the top and you close your window, plug the unit in, and you're done. So now I want to talk a little bit about price here, because we've taken our first looks at a comparison of price to mini splits versus a gradient unit. And so for a relatively inexpensive mini split with a relatively inexpensive installation, we're seeing that our product fully installed will save consumers $2,000 per room, basically, or per 9,000 BTUs of heating and cooling. And these numbers are quite conservative. So we've seen mini split installations costing upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 per room, depending on where you live and who the contractors are. And so our product, really, it's all the cost of the product, and then the installation is quite easy and inexpensive. And furthermore, mini splits would take you about like at fastest like a couple weeks to get a mini stall ordered and installed and everything, but most likely months. And a gradient, a single gradient would not take you more than a day at all, and you could install 10 gradients in one day with no problem with the same team. So now we just wanted to jump into our work with NYCHA. About 2 years ago, NYCHA put out this Clean Heat for All challenge, which challenged manufacturers to come up with a solution that would solve NYCHA's problem, which was that they couldn't figure out a cost-effective way to electrify their heating and cooling, or heating in particular. And so they put forth a really revolutionary challenge here in collaboration with NYCHA and NYPA. And we think that what they were asking for was highly influenced by our flagship product, which you can see in this photo with Governor Hochul. And so they basically asked for a similar product to our flagship product that would work in cold climates, because our flagship product is better in mild climates. So we won. We're really grateful to have won, and NYCHA and NYCHA and NYPA have all been great partners for us. And we delivered 37 units to be installed in 12 apartments in NYCHA's housing in Queens. And so here you can see some of those units that were installed at that complex. And so it's basically half a building was decarbonized in less than 4 days. The heating and cooling was decarbonized. So they removed the existing radiators and capped off the heating and cooling, or the heating systems from the boilers, and relied only on these gradient heat pumps for the entire winter time. And so these units are still installed and operating now through the summer as well, and the demonstration is going very, very well. And so I'll walk you through a few slides about that as well. So here you can see again more gradient units in this NYCHA building with the garden of the residents there, and they even comment about how it fits well into the garden. And then you can see the New York skyline in the background with our units installed in this building. Really just a testament to how much New York has lifted us up as well and supported us early on in the development of this product. Here you can see our CEO, Vince, on the left, and Bryant, my colleague that's on the call here, doing a sample install of one of these heat pumps into a NYCHA window. And then, what it comes down to is what we care about the most is the experience of the customer. So that means the end user, that means the building owner, that means the installers. And so, again, we installed 37 units in less than a week. The most time-consuming part of this was really removing the radiators, because NYCHA had to come in, remove the radiators, get their plumbers involved, and all of that. So that took most of the time, really, and the gradient installs took less than like one hour per apartment, with 3 units installed in each apartment. And we trained their technician team that was doing the installs, and it took really less than an hour for them to be certified to install. We gave them our user manuals, but the install was so intuitive after they saw it once that they basically threw away the manuals almost immediately. And their team gave us really good feedback and told us that it was a great experience installing. And then the residents themselves, these are 2 of the women that the units are installed in their home now. And they've just been extremely happy with the units. As soon as we installed them, they started decorating the top of the units with and they all make great comments about how the air feels better, the air is warm, everything felt really good. And this is the first time in their lives, these 2 women have lived for 40 years in NYCHA housing, and this is the first time they've ever had climate control in their space. So it's truly been a transformative experience for these residents. So then
just giving you a 2-minute warning here.
I am coming at time here, so I'll briefly just mention, here, when it comes to performance, we've taken in a lot of data. We've innovated with what we call our water atomizer, which is on the outdoor unit. So any water that is produced by our units, whether it's condensate or melt water in the winter, it all will be atomized and it will blow away in the wind. So it's small particles of water that blow away in the wind and are blown away from the building from our unit's fan as well. So this is a really revolutionary technology as well, and I'm happy to answer any of those questions about it. And then I just wanted to highlight here the updates in COP, like how much efficiency NYCHA is actually seeing. So from their existing systems now that are about 60% efficient with the boilers, all the way to now seeing in the field at 17 degrees outdoor temperature, over 300% efficiency with our gradient units in the field. I think I might skip this slide. This is just to show, how much the cost difference for a typical New York apartment based on data that is publicly available. We've come to the conclusion that, our gradient units with the efficiencies that we're seeing at different temperatures will be less than half the cost of the displaced fossil fuels for the building owners in New York. And then again, we did a comparison of total cost of ownership to a steam system with using natural gas in a multifamily building. And here you can see the annual total cost is about $2.50 per square foot for a steam system that is already in these multifamily buildings. And for gradient, we're less than 70 cents per square foot. So I wanted to pass it on to Bryant to just make a few last points about gradient and what's coming next. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just skip this. I mean, just some recognition we had our CEOs at the White House with Biden, some of the good as a result of some of the positive PR and press that we've received. The next slide. Just in terms of the overall process, I don't see a slide up, but the overall process, again, some pictures from the NYCHA, but overall process, we're looking to launch later on this year. Probably November, December-ish with our first product to hit the market. We are currently in the pre-order process. We're securing those orders through non-binding letters of intent or LOIs. And we're very soon moving to the purchase order stage. There is a very high demand for our 2024 units. Pretty confident that we'll probably sell out of that initial 2024 inventory very soon. So if there's an interest, we definitely would recommend that you reach out to us. So on that note, we will turn it over to Saul to facilitate any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Bryant and Rod. I see one question in the chat. Is NYCHA retaining the existing boilers for domestic hot water production in this case study? And are residents paying for heat after gradient installation?
Yeah, I can comment on that. So NYCHA, for this demonstration, they kept all their boiler systems intact and just valved them off in the basement. So there was no hot water going into the building where the demonstration is happening. No hot water for heating, rather. So it's domestic water is a different pipe, essentially. So they would still get their domestic hot water from the boiler, and their heating hot water was no longer supplied to that building in particular. Moving forward, I know that NYCHA is working on decarbonizing their domestic hot water as well. And then your second question
Are residents paying for heat after gradient installation?
Again, that's something that NYCHA has to figure out for themselves to some extent. Right now, the tricky thing for this is that NYCHA pays for heating now, but doesn't pay for air conditioning. And so they're trying to figure out what that new cost structure would look like. Typically, they will charge $10 per month or year, I think per month, something like that, for residents to be able to install their window air conditioners. But they kind of need to figure that out.
Great. We had one more question come in the chat, and then I'll encourage people to unmute and ask their questions directly. But after you answer this question, which is, do you have any data for performance in snow, i.e. when the units are heating apartments, will the exterior atomizers freeze?
Yeah, we do extensive testing in our lab, but then we've also done all of last winter, we were doing testing in Lake Tahoe, not too far from us in San Francisco. So we experienced a lot of snow. And then furthermore, in the NYCHA install, there were a few days of snow. I mean, this year, unfortunately, was like a relatively moderate winter and warm winter, but we did see snow, and we've worked really hard to mitigate any freezing that would happen in the from the atomizers. And that's one of the reasons we invented this atomizer, is so that the condensate water wouldn't drip on the floor and freeze, or like drip on the facade of the building and freeze. And so we've had really great results so far, and haven't really seen freezing to be an issue after we've iterated, of course, a few times. We've designed it away.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else have a question? Please unmute, and then if you can mute yourself again.
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, my name is Tessa Hall. I'm curious to know what the square footage this unit actually heats. Like, is it 900 square feet and then you have to add another one and another window unit? Like, what's the maximum that one of these units can heat? That's my first question. And then my second question is, what is the actual cost of one of these units?
Yeah, so in terms of the size of the unit, it is 9,000 BTU of heating and cooling. And so You can compare that to a mini split 9,000 BTU system that they're rated for about 450 square feet, but there are various considerations. It's not a simple square footage calculation. It depends also on like the height of the ceilings. It depends on the direction of the sun, how many windows you have, the load, the overall heating and cooling load in that room or that building. But as a rule of thumb, we say for a room that's 450 square foot, it's going to be totally fine. And then it also does modulate. So even for smaller rooms, the unit will be able to modulate down so that it meets the need of that room in particular. And then your second question, the price, we currently for large orders with businesses, actually, Bryant, maybe you can take this one. The price, yeah.
Yeah. The price is our MSRP now is $3,800. So we are currently selling
$3,800 a unit.
a unit. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So again, as Rod was alluding to, we're selling direct. I mean, at some point, if we decide to go through a third party, obviously that price could change as they set their own pricing. But as it stands now, the MSRP is $3,800.
What, if
Great.
any, maintenance requirements are for the unit, like in terms of if there's an interior filter for circulating air or stuff like that?
Yeah, there's two filters in the system. One is an air filter that a user could easily remove the front panel and wash or replace the filter as needed. And then similarly, we have a condensate filter that a user could take off that front panel, which is very easy to just remove. It latches off, and then take out the condensate filter and wash it. And the unit will tell you when that's necessary. Those are the two filters that are required for maintenance. Any more involved maintenance, like if you wanted to wash your clean your coils or anything like that, which would be maybe like every few years if you wanted, you could easily remove the unit, do it outside or in a workshop, and then put the unit back in when you're ready. And it's, again, just a 30-minute install. So, but the only regular maintenance is those two filters.
Is there a model that's offered with backup electric resistance heat for like colder days when you might not be able to meet the room's load?
No, we don't have any backup electric resistance heat in our units, and they are rated to meet your heating needs all the way down to -7 Fahrenheit. So in the much colder climates, generally we've seen our customers will have a backup heat source that maybe is like a gas furnace or maybe electric baseboard or something that would only turn on if the temperature in the space isn't met by gradient.
Okay, so it's rated for 9,000 BTUs at 47 degrees, or is that your derated capacity?
Derated at -7 degrees, I believe, is 7,200 BTU. So it's like 90% still. Yeah. Yeah, good
Great.
questions.
We have time for one more question. In which case I will ask it. You mentioned the MERV filtration rates and the testimonial from one of the residents about the improved indoor air quality. Can you speak to that and as a feature, and are any studies being done on NYCHA about the improvements to indoor air quality?
NYCHA is not doing studies on the improved indoor air quality. We've had qualitative data back from the residents where it was almost immediate. Like the first week these things were installed, they were like, I can breathe so much better. It's some of them have health issues or they're elderly, and so they mentioned to me, my breathing has changed. Like I'm perceptibly feeling better in my life because of this, and it's just such a confirmation of all the work that we put in to this unit. It's both keeping them comfortable and improving their health. Another resident even walked by one of the units as it was in heating mode after she got out of a shower, and she said, the air coming out was so warm, I stopped and I dried my hair with your gradient unit because it was so, the air coming out was so warm. And she's like, I don't even need my hair dryer anymore. I'm just going to use my heater now. So a lot of great comments from the residents, and they seem to love the unit.
Great. Thank you so much. We're at time. Thank you, everyone, for attending today's showcase. Rod, if people want to get in touch with you, what email should they use?
You can reach out to either to rod@gradientcomfort.com or even sales@gradientcomfort.com would be easier as well. And go to our website, gradientcomfort.com, and you can learn a lot more, but we're happy to continue the conversation.